We break the silence, we open the door. Love and compassion, that's what we're here for. With every story, with every breath, we find connection in life and in death.
Welcome to the Little Hospice Podcast, brought to you by Halton Haven Hospice. I'm Roxy.
And I'm Kevin.
And today on our chair, we have Paul O'Neill. Hi, Paul.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for the warm welcome. And how cool is that I'm your very first guest, which is lovely.
Very first patron, very first guest.
Yeah.
It's always a first for you.
Yeah, which is nice. So, yeah, when I got the phone call, I was like, oh, yes, definitely. I'll find some time to do that. So, yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's exciting. Very, very fitting. First guest, first patron. I didn't actually know that, first patron.
And now you get to learn all about what Paul does for us and has done for us.
Yes. So would you like to introduce yourself, Paul, and tell us what your connection is to Halton Haven Hospice?
Yeah, so for me, like I say, I used to race cars for a living professionally, and I stopped racing quite a while ago, but I then had my brother who was very ill. It's coming up to 11 years ago now, and he had throat cancer, and amazingly, the hospice got space in there, and we went to see him, and they were honestly, you guys were just so amazing. Like, I've never seen anything so amazing in such a bleak time, which was great. So, you know, everyone at the hospice really looked after our Stu. That was back in 2013, I think, 2014 October. Anyway, we lost our Stu, and then I was adamant that I wanted to try to, you know, make sure I did things when I could for the hospice, and I give them, you know, some of my earnings from racing cars and things like that whenever I could, because I wasn't racing a long time after I'd stopped racing back in the day. So anyway, anytime I could help out, I would. And then it wasn't until the pandemic, actually 2020, and I seen a news article saying that the hospice had been broken into, and I think the where the coffee machine is and everything like that was broken into, and things were taken, and it really struck a chord with me. And I think I rang the hospice from memory and said, is there anything I can do while these are tough times? I can imagine you're not doing any fundraising, things like that. So yeah, I spoke to the fundraiser there, and the lady who was in charge was like, yeah, let's try and do something. So I've basically done a lot of bike riding over the years.
Number one bike rider.
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff across Europe, and I mean, I never used to really ride bikes anyway, so it wasn't like it was a seasoned professional coming into it and getting a few people together and going for a bike ride. It really wasn't that case.
But
so
you kept the nation entertained as well with your weekly updates around your house. Your dishes undone.
That's true. I think
Hang on, what? I need to know more about that.
Do you know? Funny you say that, because I don't. I mean, I remember obviously a lot of the pandemic stuff, but I was just known for battering people on Instagram with my dishes up to the ceiling, and which has happened again today. Actually, there's loads of fruit flies in my house. But in the pandemic, all I was doing was just, everybody probably struggled a bit with their mental health. I'm sure they did. I know I did, and I needed to get out of the house. So I was literally just eating, cycling, and that's when we come up with the idea of doing some cycling for the hospice, and we raised quite a few quid. And then I was asked to be a patron, so that's how I've become a patron. But with the help of the hospice, we've done some amazing fundraising, and I think there's a lot of things that have happened that myself and my group of friends and people who've joined us, who are now friends, should be really proud of. So,
What's been your favourite cycle that you've done so far for us?
You know, it would be
one must stand out.
It would be easy to say. It would be easy to say Tour de Four, which was through 4 countries, starting in London, through France, Belgium, and finishing in Amsterdam. It would be easy to say that because that was an amazing one. But I actually think it was London to Paris. That was our first one that got cancelled so many times because of the pandemic.
Wow.
We did London to Paris in 4 days, I think it was.
Mm.
It might have been 3. It was like 90 miles a day, something like that. And the emotion of it was overwhelming, you know, to be doing that with people that, some of the girls that were on the ride with us, that I knew from school, they'd never ridden a bike, and they'd done a month of training, and
Wow.
they'd got up to the training that we thought we'd need them to get to. But one person in particular, Tracy, she got to 100 miles training in a day before any of us did, who were actually cycling quite a
That
lot.
must have been hard going.
Yeah.
It was a graft, but I think it was London to Paris, and I think got a great video where there's all of us, there's about 15, 20 of us, all in a site and all in a line with our hospice t-shirts on, going towards the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, we've got that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't the best thing to do in the middle of a busy
Fantastic
road.
weather though. But weren't you there? Was it a remembrance time as well? At the same time you were there, was something going on?
Yes, so we had it was the Battle of the Somme.
Yeah,
It was the
that's
Remembrance
one.
Day for that, and riding through northern France and seeing how much they respected our armed forces,
Oh.
and where they'd lay them to rest, and everything was just unbelievable. But yeah, the Battle of the Somme was a bit weird because we're all in cycling gear, and every other regiment from around the world who helped fight with the Allies are all there in their
Must have been
kit.
surreal.
Oh, yeah,
It was
absolutely.
unreal. All the the trumpets going off and the battle cry. It was unbelievable. So great memories made, but still, obviously for a great cause, and it was really nice to see, because you just touched on it. A lot of people got behind that. Sir Chris Hoy helped me out a
they
little
really
bit.
did.
Oh,
They really
wow.
did.
Yeah, we did.
Twitter
like a
went
relay,
crazy.
great.
Well, X, sorry. Twitter went crazy.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else had anything better to do. They just wanted to see me on a bike.
Yeah, that's what it was. There was a lot of egging on going on there.
There was. It was great, and we set out to do, to make some money for the hospice, and it just spiraled, and it ended up being something that I never thought would be as much as it was, and it was, and it's to this day. Obviously, with the help of the people at the hospice, we won't be able to get the people involved, the third parties that come in and help out.
Yeah.
So together, my friends and me and the hospice, we seem to, always come up with something good, and we've got Cambodia.
I was
we were
just
gonna-
going to touch on that.
We were
I
going
was-
to say what was next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was literally on the tip of my tongue, and I thought, do I sound really enthusiastic here? Or have I just literally...
You've just signed up.
Yeah. She's off.
I do fancy it, though. I think it sounds amazing.
Can I tell you something?
Oh, go on.
So I've been to Vietnam. It's one of the best places I've ever been. I've never been to Cambodia, but Vietnam's one of the best places I've ever been to. But to cycle through it would not be easy, but it would be a special time in your life to do it.
Yeah.
It would open your eyes, and it wouldn't be easy, but at the same time, it would be something. If someone told me they were 50-50, I'd be telling them that they're not. They're over 50-50. If you think you might be able to do it, you should do it.
Oh, wow,
It
really?
would be amazing. That would be probably the best cycle ride I've ever done. So that will
I
be.
was watching one of the promo videos, and it was the like a bamboo raft, and all the cyclists are on it, and they're going across the river,
Yeah.
thinking, maybe not on that one. Maybe not on that
Sounds
one.
like an episode of Top Gear. That.
Yeah, crocodiles behind you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little
yeah.
mini on the raft.
Yeah.
Can it
Let's go.
survive?
So why are you not doing it then, Paul?
I think I'm busy that day, actually.
You've got a year to think about it.
I know. It's a funny one. I mean, I am going to try to do it, because the only excuse I have is because I'm self-employed, and a lot of my work is presenting and awards dinners. It comes at the time of awards dinners for motorsport, but I'm sure if I spoke to them early enough, if they wanted me to present the awards for a particular dinner, then I might be able to get them to move a little bit. But yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to do if I can, which would be great. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got quite a few sign-ups now, haven't we already?
I think we've got 6
Yeah,
signed up for now,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we've got a few information evenings planned for it. So I
Yeah.
think we'll get there.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you do want to sign up, guys.
Yeah, a lot of people. But when we did we did a little evening that Elle from the hospice organised about what we were going to do, and I just piped up and just said this is what to expect, and there was a lot of people there, and some of them were 50-50, so I'm sure that they'll get involved. But you're making amazing money, much needed for the hospice.
Yeah.
But the other thing you're doing on a personal note is you kind of like seeing what you're about as a person as well, so that one will be pretty amazing, I would have thought.
Yeah.
I always, when you do the European rides, I'm with my friends anyway, but you always feel like you're the person who has to keep everyone going, so you're always trying to be, as positive as you can be.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to let someone else take the lead for that one, because that one looks hard. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, my good friend did the Arctic Challenge,
Oh yeah, that looked cool.
and it sounded amazing, but a proper personal challenge as well, just because you're obviously without electricity. You were obviously in the Arctic. So I think they found it really difficult, but then they came back like different people.
Mhm.
So
I think on that though, anything that's a challenge, we do it because the reason I take time off work to do it. At the end of the day, I'm self-employed. I take time off work to do these things to help the hospice,
yeah,
mainly. But the other thing I do it for is because it's one of the most amazing social things you'll ever do. You find out a lot about yourself
Yeah.
when, like you rightly say, it's a challenge. It pushes you to the edge. From my point of view, on a cycle ride, I cannot tell you. I mean, I lie to people who are signing up and say, "Oh yeah, it's all right. It just hurts you, hurts your arse a bit. Don't worry about it." I cannot tell you how hard it is to get up on the third day when you've just been told by by somebody you were there with, when you've shown them your backside and gone, "Does this look all right?"
Yeah, it's
And
fine.
they've
Carry
gone,
on.
"That looks like a half-eaten cherry bakewell." Right. So that's how hard these things can get.
And that was the ride.
Yeah. Anyway. So yes, it's a challenge. It's great socially. It's good for your mental health and mental state, but you are there it shouldn't be easy.
no,
It shouldn't be easy. We can all get some fundraising from doing something easy, but you need to challenge yourself. And that's where the hospice comes in, because when people at the hospice who are organising it, I don't organise them. I don't know what they're going to say. So they may run it past me, say what you think, and I'm like, yep, that sounds like an 8 out of 10 for difficulty. So yeah, it is.
And
It's,
then Team O'Neill begins.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I pitch up with my mates, and then we're all texting each other, going, "Do you think we've done enough training? Do you think we've done enough training? I'm not drinking this weekend. I'm not drinking this weekend."
You started training the day before.
Yeah, exactly. No, do you know what? We take it really seriously.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm, like I was saying before, I'm type 1 diabetic, so I have to be on my A game, because if I get 60 mile into a ride and I'm done, that's, for me, I feel like a failure. I won't be able to walk into the hospice and face anyone if I did that. So yeah, it's we take it seriously, but at the same time, it's a nice release when you've finished in the night, and people are all there and appreciate what you've done. But you feel like such a team. It's great, because that's something I'm used to in my job, is being a team and trying to compete to be the best. And in a hospice charity situation, it's not trying to be the best. It's just getting everyone over the line. Which is
Yeah.
something that I pride myself in. So yeah, so it's good.
I like how the hospice push it though as well. Like our fundraising team is amazing, and
Unbelievable.
the things that they come up with is amazing, isn't it? Like
I couldn't imagine how hard. I couldn't imagine how hard that is. That is a difficult thing to. Any charity, getting money is difficult, but the ideas and the scope and the ability at the hospice is actually unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I am so confident in what they do. And if the phone ever rings and it's Elle, and Elle's saying, "We're thinking about doing this," I'm 100% behind. I'll ask a couple of questions, and that's me. But I mean, the team at the hospice, everyone who's working there to keep the place going.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You're always in good hands.
You're always in good hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the good thing. So it's always going to be a challenge, but it's always going to reap the rewards. And it's amazing how things snowball with social media now, and you can really go 2-footed in, and people they're very charitable, especially people in the Northwest. Very good.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely,
lucky.
that's true. I think people of Halton and Widnes are.
Oh, very generous. Well, the hospice has relied more on word of mouth than any type of facility, whether it's social media or all those things. Word of mouth for the hospice, second to none.
I'd say the Halton area definitely.
Yeah.
I was very this is really disrespectful thing to say. I was very surprised how much money was raised from that district when I've got friends in my business who are multi-millionaires and they put money in, but they were matched by people from Halton,
Wow.
which was I thought that was pretty amazing.
That's humbling as well.
I think that just demonstrates, though, how much of an impact a hospice has on the community, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think the effort that the nurses, doctors, fundraising, everybody who works there puts into the hospice, it really does reflect on the community, and the community.
It does, and you find that everyone in the community has been touched by a hospice, whether it's
Absolutely.
a family member or a friend of a friend of a friend of a family member. You all talk about that openness,
Yeah,
about what you
absolutely.
experienced, and that's what this podcast is about, is exploring those experiences.
I think that is an amazing point, because I'll tell you this, since the first ever thing I did with the hospice, and it was in the nuclear war. It was in the Witness Weekly
You
News.
don't talk about the Mersey here.
No.
There's not going to be a nuclear war. We don't need that.
No, let's not talk about
Heard it here first.
The Witness Weekly World, or Weekly News. It was one of those papers. They put a piece in about me and my mates, who are the original gangsters, let's say.
Yep.
Me, Rousey, and Ross, who've been there from the beginning, and we've been to school together, and we've all had somebody. They had their mums helped, and I've had my brother helped, obviously. And it was amazing when we did that first one, how many people I now speak to from school. Literally, I never spoke to anyone, because I moved away to go and follow my career.
Yeah.
I come back 10 years ago, but now I speak to one of my mates, Greg. He come round and fixed me windows for me the other day, and the only reason we speak is because he said thank you for what we'd done, because his dad was in there, and it's like.
But it's the effect that has on. It's
Absolutely.
reconnecting with people from your past that you
Yeah.
thought you'd never see again, and then
Yeah.
getting your windows done, which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
absolutely.
Quentin.
Still
It's not
owe,
what
I
you
still
know,
owe
it's
him.
you know.
Still owe him some money, actually. But you're dead right. That's the community,
Yeah.
and that is what I love about the hospice. That everybody, chips in, and I think people don't really understand how much we rely on people, because, not to get political, but it's an absolute disgrace that the government, whatever government is in at the time, don't help these places out as much as they should. I know they get help, but but that's for another time. But
That's
anyway,
a whole
that means
season 3 podcast.
Exactly. It just means I have to get a sore arse with my mates.
Yeah, like a cherry pie.
Exactly.
Yeah, so basically you've signed up to Vietnam now.
So have you.
We've got
Heard it here
I'm on
first.
it, yeah,
Again.
I'm on it. But I think, this is one of the missions for the podcast, is that the thing that I struggle with is when you sort of say to people, oh yeah, I work for the hospice, and you always get the head tilt, and people go, oh, it must be really sad. But
And it's not.
It's not. Like, the hospice is not a sad place, and I think trying to talk about hospice care, obviously talking about death, dying, grief, everything that nobody really wants to talk about, is the mission, because it isn't sad, and we all know that death is inevitable. It's going to happen to us all. So talking about it, talking openly about it in a light forum,
Light-hearted way.
Yeah. Like,
we all have a humour side
Yeah.
to experiencing loss, and rather than hide it, we talk about it.
Yeah.
And we normalise it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think us as nurses, even talking at the hospice, you have a wicked sense of humour.
Oh,
because you
yes.
have to.
Yeah.
Because
I used to. So when I went in to see my brother that time, before he passed, that was quite difficult. And I never wanted to go back there, if that makes sense.
Okay.
No, it does.
Which you can imagine. And then I got asked to open the refurbed part of it.
Yep, you did.
You guys put a lovely slate on there with. I've never been. I was like a king, like
Aw.
literally with my name outside.
Yeah.
Um,
We've got that picture.
Yeah.
Little curtains on
it
it
was
and
a long
everything.
time ago. Yeah, brought a little Ferrari.
Yeah,
We
you did.
We mate borrowed us a Ferrari. But I think what was amazing is when they asked me to do it, I didn't feel like it was a right thing to do. Like, as in, I didn't want like people thinking, oh, what's he turning up for? But then it was it was asked so nicely, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll come along. That'll be great. So I went, and we did what we did, and then it was just ever since then. I do not have a. I love to go to the hospice because it is a place where the sad things happen, but overall, it is everybody there is just amazing, and in a time of passing and maybe it's your your last part of your life, it's as if you've been given another lease of life.
Yeah.
That's how I see it anyway, because everyone's just so happy that you can rely on the staff there to look after everyone. And I've seen so many people in there, and this is the thing with death as well. It's like it's on your doorstep, isn't it? And every time I've been there it sounds really sad, but every time I've been there to pick my bike up, someone shouted me in and gone, "Oh, so and so's in here and wants to give you," and it's someone I've known's mum or.
And that again, it goes back to the community. We're all connected. We all know each other.
Absolutely.
So it's sad, but it's not because that's the last time I've seen them. And you know what?
Yeah.
They've always been in good spirits because they're not having a terrible, awful end of lifetime. I know death is not the easiest thing, is it? But
no, it's not. But having your family around you rather than being in a clinical setting of a hospital, it's a different memory.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a better memory.
absolutely, you couldn't have put it any better. Absolutely.
I think my most recent favourite memory is we had a young lady in who had girls with her, and she got married at the hospice.
Oh,
I've
So
seen that.
the
Amazing.
lounge was cleared out. It was all set up for it. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
And at first, I didn't have any connection to the lady, but then I realised we all hung out when we were younger.
Oh.
No
But
way.
it took another friend turning up to that for me to realise. So I do know you.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes, I didn't at the time,
Oh.
but it took a conversation and being invited into that to find
Yeah.
out.
And going back to that day, so I hadn't been at the hospice for very long, and the way them nurses, health support workers, all got together to
Yeah.
build flower arches for her, do everything.
That wedding was
just
pulled out of the
unbelievable.
bag within a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
it was amazing. And that's what I mean. The corridors are literally filled with just people laughing.
Yeah, but having the little girls running around, it was just,
Absolutely.
it brightened up everyone's day. Even
Yeah.
patients with their own families were
Yeah.
commenting out and getting involved, and they were invited into the wedding. Where else does that happen?
It just,
Yeah, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
Incredible memories.
We were away somewhere, and I think Elle shown it us. I think we were on a ride. I remember seeing it, and or Elle must have she'd put it into the WhatsApp group that we have for the cyclists and Elle from the hospice. And I literally, you could see everyone like I spoke to Ross, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's like the most amazing, but like unreal thing I've ever seen."
Yeah.
It was pretty special. So
But that's what the funds are there to provide, those special, unique memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had unique requests. We've had one gentleman wanted a tattoo, never had a tattoo in his life, wanted one before that time came. We made it happen.
really,
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We make things happen.
that is proper. Yeah,
It's
actually.
amazing.
I'm gonna get one of my. I've got one tattoo. I'm gonna get that covered up. Got it when I was 16. You're not seeing it.
It's not a tramp stamp, is it? It's called.
It's worse, mate.
Oh,
I don't
no.
even know what it says. It's in some different language.
We won't put that on camera.
I mean, technically, you're the hospice patron, Paul, so I think you should technically get the hospice butterfly.
Oh, actually, that's not a bad shout. Yeah, it's on my shoulder. Maybe I just
Well,
get it
if
covered
Paul's
up.
gonna
with
get
butterfly.
The whole of Team O'Neill that have been involved need to get it. So put that on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it now. You just signed up to Vietnam and you've signed up to get a butterfly
I
tattoo.
don't. I only come for a 20-minute podcast.
And no, now look at it.
Yeah, it's getting expensive.
And you've still yet to ask your question.
I have got to ask you a question.
Mm.
We have to dig deep now,
Yeah,
Paul.
so
dig
it's-
deep.
So my question to you, Paul, is obviously your background in motorsport
Mhm.
comes with a higher risk of mortality. So I'm wondering if you have had open conversations about what happens when you die. Obviously, if you've made any plans for the future, because again, getting people to talk about that openly only makes our job easier at the hospice, because we want people to have them advanced conversations so that we can obviously make that
And then,
end
Yeah.
easier.
and did other teammates have those similar conversations as well, or is it an unwritten thing to speak about because of the nature of that?
So you've just absolutely nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in motorsport, so I have friends who are in motorcycle racing. They do the TT, which is just you've got a big chance of dying. my racing that I did and still do is nothing's ever safe, but it's in a car, so it's not open. I'm not, my head isn't outside the car. It's not like a single seater like a Formula One car. So I've never had that conversation, and I don't think many drivers will, because when you go out in the car, if you have that thought in your head, you just lost 0.2 of a second, and you're middle of the grid. You're not at the front. So to answer your question, I've never had the conversation, but I will tell you that as I've got older, I'm 45 now, that I'm starting to think about it a lot more from speaking to friends who are a little bit older or the same age as me, because I still do a lot of coaching, so I sit with other people who are driving, and that's where you're most likely to be in an accident, because you're not in control, and it's novices and things like that. So it's definitely something I need to look at. But when you're competing, you just can't. Be like asking a footballer, do you ever speak to your physio and say, if I break my ankle,
Yeah.
can you make sure?
Yeah.
Because you if you think it, then unfortunately sometimes it'll
So
take over your head.
I get that. It makes sense. But I always wondered whether those conversations took place, because if you look at our armed forces, they have, we write
Yeah.
a letter. If this happens, this goes to our family.
Yeah.
So, different industries have different ways of working that out,
Yeah.
don't they?
But the TT riders are on them bikes at 200 mile an hour in the Isle of Man. They will have that conversation, because that's a conversation that is needed to be had.
So it
they're a
depends on
different breed.
the safety aspect of
Yeah,
that role.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a person I won't name, but it's a friend of mine who competes in the Indy 500, which is the biggest motor race in the world, and they race at 250, 240 miles an hour around concrete walls.
Like Roxy drives.
I was
Right
like,
now.
like the journey here. But
You were on a train, I was in a car.
Yeah, my train was doing 4 mile an hour.
On that note, do you want to lift back?
I think I'll walk.
wisely.
But last time I seen him, it was very interesting what he said to me, because I never thought this was something that he would say. So he's got a wife and 2 kids, and I said, "What is it like to compete in the Indy 500?" Because somebody gets killed on average once every 4 or 5 years, maybe. Safety's a lot better now. I've had friends who are killed. I know people who kill loads of people. So I know death exists in motorsport. I'm not stupid. I've been in races where people have been seriously injured.
But does that grief hit you like a brick, or you're already prepared for it because of the nature of the sport?
Yeah, it sort of comes with the territory sort
Yeah.
of thing.
I think everybody. You don't think you would never ever get in a car or put yourself in a situation if you think you're going to die.
Yeah.
You just won't, because the humans are not built to think
No.
like that. They just aren't. So, I do get in cars sometimes and think, but don't get me wrong, I've thought it in the last 3 or 4 years. I'm thinking, is this gonna be the day? Like, you do think it crosses your mind.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, then you'd be lying. But at the same time, you don't think, well, I am going to die. It's like
Yeah.
you think that could happen, but this is what I'll do to try and not make it happen. And that's part of being a racing driver. But my mate from Indy 500 was saying, on Indy 500 weekend, I mow the grass. They all live in America. I mow the grass. I say bye to the kids. I tell the missus where everything is, and I go to qualifying day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you literally
gosh.
every time I switch the Indy 500 on to watch it, 'cause I'm a massive fan.
Yeah.
I have done since 1991. Every time I watch it, unfortunately you know that
Yeah.
there could be a death in it, or someone's going to get seriously injured. It's the law of averages. So yeah, to answer your question, I should think more about what I do, professionally, because otherwise, if you don't sort it all out, the state, it goes to the state, and my next of kin will be my mum and dad, and you need to get things straightened up.
You do, and you want to make it easier for loved ones, because you don't want them going through the probate process or all those things.
Which
and
you
then-
guys must hear about all the time.
All the time.
all the time.
Definitely.
All the time. And that's why we're a big believer in advanced care planning,
Yeah.
having that conversation earlier, not being afraid to have that conversation
Yeah,
either.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But then it's difficult, because even me as a nurse, if I'm talking to my mum and she says, I want to be cremated, not buried, I'll soon shut her down.
Yeah.
And why? Like, because it's difficult to have them conversations,
Yeah.
isn't it? And you don't want to think of that, but then you know that it is going to happen at some point, sadly.
But you can then go to work and have that conversation with patients
Yeah,
and families
absolutely.
with
Yeah.
no problem. But when it
Yeah.
hits home, it's harder.
Yeah,
Isn't it very interesting that, isn't it? Because my
Mm.
parents are getting older now. My dad's 80, he's 82 on Sunday. And he's okay. He's got a few issues. But like my mum's late 70s. I'm 45. My sister's 51. We are not young people. But in my state of mind, and I'm sure in your state of mind, I don't think I'm going to die until I'm like 90.
Yeah.
So I just don't, I'll put it off until
No.
there's
Indestructible for a good
exactly.
20, 30 years now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've driven the width and length of this country. I am indestructible.
Yeah.
But
And then to carry on driving the length and width of this country
yeah, exactly.
for
But you-
Halton Haven Hospice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, biking.
But you're dead right. You're dead right. It needs to be spoken about because it helps everyone out. But yeah, maybe that's the conversation I needed today to sort that out because I
Yeah.
put it on. My mate who I went on holiday with the other month, he sent me his will over and he went,
Wow.
just change the names and he said, mate, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
I think we do. As we get older, we think about our own
Yeah.
mortality and what we
Yeah.
leave and what we need to have done ready for us.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking, Paul, did your brother sort of have any plans in place or?
I'll answer that really truthfully. I
Yeah.
actually don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, is the answer to that because I think it happens so quickly with
Right.
our Stu. He was a clever guy, to be fair to him, and a very funny man. But I think I would have thought he would have had something because my sister-in-law Carla is a proper switched-on lady, so I'm sure everything was sorted. But when things happen that fast,
Yeah.
I just remember because she works at AstraZeneca, so she's a clever woman.
And they're one of our
Yeah.
biggest supporters as well.
She's a very clever woman, and like I remember when we were at the hospice, your emotions take over, and I
Absolutely.
remember she was speaking to nurses saying, "Can you not do this? Can you not do that?" And that's just your emotions taking over.
course
Do you
it
know
is.
what I mean? So in that short space of time, when someone gets very ill very quickly,
Yeah.
your emotions take over, and maybe you don't, sort things out. But yeah, to answer your question, I honestly don't know. Very good question, though, because you'd think I would know, but no.
But and
That's it.
people
If you don't
don't.
have these
No,
conversations.
and that's the problem I find with things like what we call advanced care planning
Mm.
is that people wait until they are poorly.
That's a bad thing to do, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now I'm talking about it. Yeah.
And like now, when we're all thankfully fit and well, that's the time to sow the seeds as to what you would want and what your wishes would be.
Yeah.
So again, having them early conversations.
Can I say something though? I'm not a spiritual person or anything like that, but if it's something I don't want to happen,
Yeah.
like we were just talking about in racing, like I don't want to talk about death because that'll be on my mind. If I drive a car, I'll steer clear of it because I think it might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might bring it into.
You don't tempt
Yeah.
fate.
Do you see what I'm? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Makes perfect sense.
yeah, and I would be like, if I went home now and was like, spoke to mum and dad, and I was like, right, this is, I think, what I need to, you guys have done yours, I think I should do mine. I would just then be thinking, why have I done that? Now am I going to die? Like, that is a weird thing to
Yeah.
But
say.
it's human.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
human to
But I'm-
question those things.
I'm just
Absolutely.
being honest.
Yeah,
That's
don't
'cause-
tempt.
Yeah, because I am like that. Like, I'm still
We've
one
got
of those people.
There's a lot more bikes in your future.
I'm still one of those people though that like I don't know if you guys you won't because you won't know race, but the 61 bus was the Liverpool bus in Widnes and around here. And when I was at school, you used to have 2 feet off the floor if it went past you, and if the 62 bus went past you, you had to just have 1 foot on the floor.
Oh,
And
I
if
remember.
I had me, like you see 3 grids,
Yeah.
and if you touch one of them,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
no,
Your
yeah,
day's
yeah.
over.
We all build our superstitions.
Yeah.
superstitions.
But that's the thing, superstitions. I remember being at a racetrack once, and it was a banked oval, which was quite quick. It was a place called Rockingham, and I'm like, I'm not the bravest of people, but I have to be in my trade to be fair. And my mate rattled me, just by saying, "Oh, mate, I've had a bad premonition about you this weekend." And he was messing around because hey, listen, friends in Widnes are horrible. Like, and I did worse to him, so don't worry. But he got in my head. He said, "Oh, I've had a bad premonition about you." And then I had a terrible race weekend. And then I rang him and I went, mate, what was that premonition? He went, I was only joking. I was
You
like,
just
"Oh,
work
nice one."
yourself up completely.
It ruined my championship.
It's all your fault, friend.
Yeah,
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Well,
Richard.
I literally had surgery probably in March, and I was telling everybody that I was going to die. I had in my head that I was going to die. I was obsessed, yeah, and
She was.
I was, and
Really?
I'd even rang a few of my friends to say that I was going to die. But you know what? Even though I kept saying that, I'd planned anything, I'd have done anything, I'd have done a will, nothing.
No. Why did you feel like that?
I don't know. I think I was just feeling very negative.
One of those times.
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
so.
Oh, we
All been there,
putting it out there thinking it's not going to happen because I'm saying it.
Yeah, that's it. This is where the
Some
superstitions
people
come in.
use those negative
Yeah.
connotations to say, well, I'm beating you with a stick. You're not actually going to happen because I'm saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But I do remember one of my friends saying to me, well, have you made a will then? And I was like, no. She was like, well, you should have made a will if you thought you was going to die. But it's so, honestly.
It is funny.
Now you say it, it's a bit like, yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Because we're not getting younger, are
We're
we?
not
But-
getting younger,
and it
no.
just makes things a lot easier. I mean, I've heard of my old teammate from years ago. He was telling me a beauty. His dad had bowel cancer. Didn't pass massively quickly, but he dropped off a cliff, really dropped off a cliff, and he passed away. And James must have only been late 20s. And I remember him telling me, he went, "Oh God, I've got my dad's funeral." He says, and I've had 3 phone calls. He said, "There's money behind the bar. There's this." His dad had gone round, sorted everything out, stuck all the money behind the thing. Said, "Don't worry about it." Sorted out his own cremation. He'd done everything. And I was like, that's actually quite a good way of doing it, I
Yeah.
suppose. But I suppose if you've got a bit of time to think about your own mortality and what's going on with your illness, then it might be a bit easier.
Yeah, that's it. That's what all the adverts on telly say now, isn't it? You know, I don't want to be a burden to my family. I want to
do-
have my funeral plan in place.
You do see it a lot, though. It's like people having GoFundMe pages
Yeah,
and stuff like
absolutely.
that, isn't it?
Because it's expensive, funerals and all that. It's expensive
Yeah.
if you've not pre-planned. But even if you pre-plan, you can't think of every eventuality. There's always something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But best to plan than not plan.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And on that cheery note,
Yeah.
thank you very much for being our first guest.
I feel
Not a
like we could have
problem.
talked for ages.
We
though,
could
about
have.
it,
We could
couldn't
have.
we?
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this Superwoman cup that I've nicked from someone.
Only
this
Paul
building.
O'Neill can rock up with nothing and end up with someone else's belongings.
This is coming on the train home with me.
Absolutely. He might have to now because they might be waiting for us in the kitchen.
Yeah. I'll make them wash it and then they'll take it as well. But no, it's been amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thanks, Paul.
having us. And yeah, hopefully the rest of the episodes go swimmingly well.
Yeah,
It will.
I'm sure they will.
She'll wing the rest just like
Yeah.
you did.
Take a
Absolutely.
deep breath, pull up a chair. It's time to talk, we'll meet you there. Bringing some light to the end of the day, the Little Hospice Podcast.